So prepare. Joseph tells him, like, you need to find someone who's really wise in order to put a plan in place to make sure that the grain that is healthy and good is stored up, and that is stored up so much that when the years of famine come, you guys will still be good in Egypt and nobody will go without food. After Joseph tells him like what he should do in order to stop, which is like an amazing plan, Pharaoh's like, who else could really come up with something like this? I'm gonna put you in charge. He tells him, since God has spoken to you and you hear him so clearly and you are just like one with him, I'm gonna put you in charge of this whole project. And also, you're gonna be so much in charge that only person who is above you is me. And that's how you know that God is a God of suddenlies, because a couple hours ago, Joseph was in prison, literally probably eating slop. And then a couple hours later, he's dressed in better clothing and he is given basically the position of second hand to Pharaoh. That's how you know God is a God of suddenly. Because suddenly Joseph's life turned around in the blink of an eye in a day's time. Now he is the head of making sure Egypt doesn't go without food during their famine time. That also lets you know that nothing can get in the way of God's plan for your life, because in the beginning, Joseph had a dream about how he was going to be like in command somewhere. And this dream that he had back then is starting to unfold and will unfold even more in the sooner chapters. Anyway, though, Pharaoh removes the signet ring and puts it on Joseph and is like, I hereby put you in charge. Like, you are the second in command. Like, hear ye, Joseph, you got it. It says that Pharaoh dressed Joseph in like fine linens. He put a gold chain around his neck. He put the nines on him, because now Joseph is somebody and he's about to put his plan into place to make sure Egypt doesn't starve. He had Joseph ride in his chariot, only reserved for his second in command. He had people kneel for Joseph. He gave Joseph a wife. Joseph had 2 kids. Like, Joseph's life really comes up. Like, he does his big one. Joseph is 30 years old when this all comes to pass. And it says that, as predicted, for 7 years, the land produced bumper crops. And during those times, Joseph gathered all of the crops grown in Egypt and stored them in a grain house in surrounding fields and cities to make sure that Egypt had food. It says there was like so much grain that they stopped keeping record of it because they couldn't even keep track of how much they were getting with these crops. And that also goes back to anything that Joseph touched would multiply. Anything he touched would be well done. Like back when he was at Potiphar's house before his wife started acting crazy, Potiphar's house was well ran and he had no issues because Joseph was there. Same thing now, because Joseph is there and over Egypt in this grain problem, they have no issues. Everything is running smoothly. Crops are being multiplied like crazy. Like,